1, 2. Fredrik, han är väldigt nöjd.
Let's be a bit personal from the start. How do you respond when you go to the kindergarten to pick up your kids and they ask you to play some guitar and stuff? What kind of songs do you play in the kindergarten?
They never have asked me to play. I've been dreading the moment when they're gonna ask me, like, what the fuck should I play? But probably I know the theme to Pippi Långstrump and to it's difficult to play it, but Alfons Åberg, he's a different name in Norway.
Yeah, Alfons Åberg.
Yeah. So probably something of that.
Okay.
Or Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. That goes down well with the kids.
One day you play Royal Albert Hall. The next day you go to pick up the kid in the kindergarten. What does it feel to you?
No, I gotten used to that. You know, it's. I have to say, it's become harder and harder to adjust between the two lives that I have. One is like with all the attention and that kind of stuff, and the next day I'm just picking up the kids, going down to the playgrounds with the swings and cooking and taking care of all that stuff. Being the dad. And sometimes, especially on this tour, because we've gone home for like a day. We flew home from Finland for a day, and then we had a few days off in the middle of the tour. But when I come back home, my head is still on tour, so it's really difficult to adjust to those. Especially lately when I come back home, I'm like, where am I? So it's kind of strange, but. I don't have any choice than to try and adjust as good as I can.
Opeth is your work as well, so.
Yeah, it is. It's what I do. Yeah.
And you do it well. What is it that you search for when you play live?
It's pretty crass, but it doesn't matter where we play or if it's well attended or if it's sold out. What I'm looking for is I want us to be good. When I hear the five of us playing. I want it to sound good, and if it doesn't matter if the crowd is great. I'm still going to be like, wow, it's a shit gig, which is bad. It's very bad. It's a bad kind of attitude. But we're getting so picky. Like if we do one mistake, if I hear one mistake from some guy, I'm like, okay, that's that show ruined. Not that we're going to go like, oh, you fucked it up, but it really, that's the thing that makes me enjoy playing live. So basically, I'm not sure what you would call it if I'm looking for perfection or something like that. I'm not really, but it's just something we have to be a unit. And when we are, it's wonderful. And when we're not, it's horrible.
Okay, now you have done a few gigs now in Norway. This is a kind of a special thing, isn't it?
It's a special thing because we're working with Skottene and Rikskonserterna. So I understand that we wouldn't be able to do as many shows as we've done. So tonight we're playing our 8th and last show here in Drummond. But it's been really amazing, and big crowds and great support, and great crowds also. I would like to add.
In what way?
They're excited. They're into the gig. Well, maybe not last night. Some people we have some calmer moments, and people tend to just chatting during those moments instead of listening to the music.
Is that really annoying for you?
Yeah, well, we're a bit used to it. It happens. It doesn't just happen here. It happens everywhere, basically. But sometimes you feel like it's a bit disrespectful in a way. But
I usually can't hear it because I have in-ears, so I don't hear it. But the other guys maybe can hear it.
Especially if there are places with a very low dB limit. We're only allowed to play 100 dB.
Oh yeah.
Then if a guy in the audience just crushes a cup or something, he can actually sound louder than we do in the comments.
En liten lugn, liten skön låt som vi kan höra sig till sömns.
all talk in between the songs, if it comes out wrong, if you could put it that way, you see that reaction is like, okay. Is that one of the things that makes the gig less, or give it lesser volume?
No. I kind of like that in a way. I'd like to kind of make people feel uneasy, and I also like when people think that all of a sudden I said something and I should, like I'm uneasy about it. I kind of sometimes I just push it even further. I'm not completely. I still have blood in my veins and everything, but I like that. I like to push the crowd a little bit. I'm not going to be super controversial about anything, but there's been quite a few occasions where I said something and it's just like, what did he say? But sometimes it's really, really funny.
It is. Fredrik and Martin, I spoke to them 2 years ago, and then sometimes they just, okay, where is this heading?
Yeah. No, there's been, most of the time I can't remember really what I say. I say so much stupid shit, but there's one thing I remember, and there was like, it was so quiet in the crowd. It was in Switzerland, I think, on this tour. And I said, do you see Fredrik's guitar here? Well, one of you can have it. All you have to do is shit in your own hand and then smear it in your own face. And it was just like, and I was like, any takers? And there was one guy. But obviously it didn't go that far, but yeah, it was pretty rude.
But if you had done that to Fredrik,
I would have fucking forced Fredrik to give him the guitar. And to deliver it personally. I don't want to go near it.
No, of course.
It says on I co-wrote Porcelain Heart with the first single. I came up with that heavy riff, and Mikael more or less arranged the rest.
Okay, you did the heavy riff because Porcelain. That's my favorite song on the new album.
Oh really? Mm-hmm. But the starting riff, and a bit of the verse.
I know you're obsessed with sound, and I noticed that Heritage was in the listening session. It was played in 5.1 surround, and I think Steve Wilson's version is fantastic, his surround version. And just wonder, which version do you prefer, the stereo version or the 5.1 surround version?
Well, I have to say the surround version. It was I had never heard the surround version until that listening party. So I was blown away, and it was like, it sounds cliche, but it was like hearing the album for the first time again, and very stark. It was a emotional experience for me to hear it like that. It was beautiful, but it's one of those kind of things that you really have to invest time in an album if you're going to listen to a record in surround. You have to sit down and you have to sit still. Yeah. You can't walk around and feed the cat, take care of the bird, or take care of the kids and be by the computer. You have to, be in the same spot. Otherwise, it's useless, if you know what I mean. So to have a musical experience, if I invest time, it would definitely be surround for any record. And otherwise, I'm just like anyone else. I play my vinyl, and sit by the computer looking for more vinyl. Basically, that's how I consume most of my music. But if I'm going to have a really good musical experience, it'll be surround. Yeah.
Totally agree. I think there are many fans who wonder about your 5 other albums, Orchid and Morning Rise and My Arms, and what is it? It's this Deliverance and Damnation. Will they be released in surround?
Well, I have a surround mix of Damnation that Steven did. That's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But it comes down to like record label rights, because those albums were put out on record labels that 3 of those records I think are owned by Sony now, and the other 2 I don't know who owns them, to be honest. But I think there is talk. We talked to Sony about doing Damnation and Deliverance, you know.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm not sure when. I don't usually get involved. I still, when I think on my music, I still think stereo, so I can't be involved in a surround mix. I explode or something. You know.
Heritage, it's a surprise of an album. I think it surprised a lot of people, perhaps even including yourself. What is the response that has surprised you the most?
I was expecting a certain amount of shit, I guess, you know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like what type of record we put out. You know, when we put out the Watershed record and the Ghost Reveries and whatever, I kind of expected our fans to be like, "Wow, I love this album." But no, you know, they, you know, it's really difficult to foresee what people are going to think. But with this album, I did expect some people to hate it, you know, and I was right. Some people absolutely hate it to the point that they want to kill us. You know, we had threats. I mean, on stage, like you know, killing. And it's pretty crazy to see that. So that's a pretty, I would have to say, a response I didn't expect. I mean, at the end of the day, it's music, and I want to say it's only music. I know that music means a lot to me, and without it, my life would be very empty, and it means a lot to other people. But to have people just hate you so much just because you put out some music it's not right, if you know what I mean. So I didn't expect that. No, it's pretty crazy. There was a guy, we do these meet and greets, and where people buy like it's an expensive ticket and they get some like goodies and a bag and t-shirts and signed stuff, and they also get to meet the band. And there was one of them where a guy turned up with a he had printed his own t-shirt. It said Opeth, rest in peace, 1990-2010. And I was like, what's up with the t-shirt? And he's like, well, there's no death metal vocals anymore, is it? You know, I'm like, no, but I mean, and it was a bit disturbing. I mean, I don't know what he wanted. You know, he wasn't threatening or anything like that, but he was like just the act of being there, telling me with his shirts and the other guys that we're dead to him. You know, was, I think, I'm not sure if he is completely clear in the head or something, but it was a bit disturbing, you know.
But did you challenge him on Damnation? Oh, come on, I mean, it's even...
No, but people seem to have forgotten that, you know, that we did Damnation, and that we have had songs like that ever since the first record, in a way. So for me, I mean, I know the album's different than the other records, but it's not completely outrageous, you know. I think you could have, if you know your history with Opeth, you could have foreseen a thing like this, and it wouldn't be such a crazy move. Then it's up to you personally whether you like it or not. That's a whole different matter. But just to think that it's so fucking crazy, they're deserting their whatever, you know, which is not the case. We're embracing the stuff that we've been always listening to. But people think it's the other way around.